Hi, my name is Miss Heinen. I'm so happy to have you as a student, and we look forward to spending lots of time working together with you and your family. I first want to address a task number one, concerning a wonderful little first grade student named Elise. She has been assessed in mathematics. The data showed me that she was very strong in many of her concept areas, with some of her areas showing greater growth than some other first graders her same age peers. According to this data, she was in the 99th percentile for growth and achievement. Pretty good. Data shows that she could be strengthening her skills in the instructional area of number sense, algebraic reasoning and algebra, and geometry and measurement. Data also showed me that she has a stronger skill set in data and probability. Excuse me, this strength will give her an advantage when she's learning new materials. It's interesting to me that Elise has developed her skills in data and probability over the other three more basic math skills. So to me, it seems she may work better with graphs and tables and pictures, that type of instruction over traditional columnized math problem solving, more traditional rote learning, if you will. If this is true, then geometry and measurement should be an easier area for me to see growth in, because it appears that she may be a visual learner, and just looking at numbers on a paper she just might not find that exciting, and it just might not, she might not grasp that as well. And the standards that I think I would consider working with her more one-on-one would be basic math facts, basic problem solving skills. These are skills that she's going to need forever to be grounded in her basic math skills to continue growing in the area of math that she's already strong in. Some areas, this is going to continue to foster that growth. As an instructor, I would work with her one-on-one with manipulatives. Being her age, being a first grader, I'm sure she's still excited to touch and learn and feel things. And to me, it seems she's a visual learner. So I think she would get more benefit from manipulative learning than pencil and paper and that, type of just traditional worksheet type learning. So I think working with her hands-on type materials, and then incorporating eventually some games, like online games, curriculum-based technology games, I think would be enjoyable for her, and she would probably, with enjoyment, she would really grasp that, those concepts. So I'm thinking for a basic first-time lesson, since she is a first grader, covering number sense, computation, and problem solving. And my objective here to work with her would be to use the relationship between addition and subtraction to generate basic facts beginning up to 20. I would use manipulatives such as counting bears, buttons, different colored buttons, different size buttons, depending on her age, but probably larger the better. Even Skittles, something bright colored that can obviously be separated and manipulated. This would take 45 or more minutes, 45 to 60, I would give it, just for, picking things up off the floor and all of that. I would give her a group of manipulatives, whichever one she chose or whichever we had available, to count out into groups of 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, counting those aloud. And then once we hit 20, stop. And then we have 20 objects. And then we can take those away one by one, counting down, to practice that counting up to 20, back and forth. We can also use those items to strengthen our addition, subtraction skills, take away, add to, take away concepts. We can use those to groups to go into multiplication and division. 3 groups times 3 group, 3 in a group times 3 in a group, those type of skills. I think these manipulatives could be used to foster the multiplication and division skills also, and then we can eventually use them into graphing situations, graphing by color, by size, by whatever the manipulative is. And if it's candy, then of course, they'll have the option to eat that at the end if they would like. The observation and assessment, well, to me, the assessment best suited for this particular task would be teacher observation, and just watching her manipulate those manipulatives, watching her count, listening to her count, and being able to correct if she needed, or just being able to give her verbal praise and affirmation for job well done. Task number 3, I believe I'm just supposed to go to 3. No, 4. Okay, task number 3 is John, I believe. I have it in front of me. Is John. John is task number 3 is my video. Task number 4 is John. John needs a 504 or an IEP. John's a 5th grade student diagnosed with severe ADHD, difficulty staying focused. These are my little notes I jotted. Hard time staying seated, frequently moves around the room, cannot control his talking. He struggles with organization of assignments by misplacing assignments, forgetting to complete them, forgetting to turn them in, probably cramming them in his backpack. He struggles with time management. He has a STAR score of 5.6. His state testing scores, his OCCTs, I believe, were OCCTs were proficient, and his DIBEL score puts him at a 7th grade level. Let's say approximately 2 grade levels above, which is pretty good. So based on this information, it seems to me that he is functioning at grade level, with the exception of the DIBELS assessment, which shows him functioning above grade level. So in this scenario, I would recommend he be placed on a 504 plan with accommodations, because he doesn't have from this information, I don't see a discrepancy in his learning, a deficit in his learning. He might just be bored, but he seems to be achieving, educationally speaking, he's on level, and could, possibly be above level on quite a few things. So it's his ADHD that's affecting him in the classroom. And of course, that affects everyone around him too, assuming that he's in a regular education classroom. A 504 plan, I think, would be best for him, with accommodations to assist him in learning to manage his behavior in the classroom. He seems to be a bright student that's affected by his disability. He would receive services in the category of other health impaired with the diagnosis of ADHD. Hopefully he's receiving medication for his ADHD. If it's that severe, I would assume that would be the case. But if so, his behavior should improve in and out of the classroom if he's medicated. I would suggest seating him at the front and center of the room, maybe close to the teacher, away from all the, the doors and the windows and all of that. Sitting him near maybe a more calm student to act as a positive classroom behavior role model, giving him extra time to complete assignments, maybe breaking his assignments into chunks, or trying to avoid really lengthy assignments, but breaking his assignments into smaller chunks, or maybe smaller time segments, so that he's not, having to focus and get really distracted, or get tired of focusing. Giving him instructions verbally and written, and repeating those instructions and directions if needed, signaling him to stay on task, working with him to get a certain, look, or something that he knows, oh, I'm off task and I need to get back on, without being a disruption to the other kids and to him and to his work process too. Obviously giving him praise for, immediately giving him praise for positive behavior that's noticed, and then trying to ignore the little, maybe ADHD idiosyncrasies that he may have, and not bringing a lot of attention to something unless it's just, an all-out war. That's totally different. But giving him binders or folders, whatever the classroom allows, binders with dividers so that he can learn to organize, and giving him the freedom, if possible, to move around if he needs to. If he gets fidgety, send him on an errand, or take this to the room next door. Give him something to do to kind of expel some of that extra energy that he has. Focus on positive and proper social interaction with his peers, his classmates, and other teachers. His actions in the classroom are very typical of a child with severe ADHD. And he's probably not going to be the only one in the classroom with this either. But his learning so far from this data, I don't feel is really impaired right now at this juncture. And if he learns to manage these behaviors, and that's a learning process, he can learn to manage those ADHD behaviors, then that'll improve his educational growth forever, for the rest of his life, and even into his work life and his adult life. Anyway, that's my thoughts. This is Shannon Heinen. Thank you.